Mortgage default surge in New Zealand. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because I want to look at this Fin Review article about the Kiwis and how, well, mortgage defaults are jumping over there. Now I've done a video just recently, and I don't know if it's going to be released before or after this one. It depends how I organize it. But it's just about eggs in New Zealand and how expensive they are getting there. I think 3 times the cost of here in Australia. And one viewer suggested, wait till you see house prices in New Zealand. And well, let's have a look, because I do not blame anyone from fleeing New Zealand and coming to good old Australia, particularly in Queensland. You get a better quality of life and it's warmer. So, mortgage defaults jump in housing bellwether New Zealand. So, signs of stress are emerging in New Zealand's housing market, with the number of people behind on loan repayments jumping as soaring interest rates bite. Mortgages in arrears rose 23% in February from a year earlier to 18,900, Auckland-based credit bureau Centrix said on Tuesday. This equates to 1.29% of overall mortgages, the highest since March 2020. Well, since we're comparing it, well, March 2020, that was the middle of the lockdown mania, wasn't it? So it's not surprising that it was high then. So it's creeping up there, but property prices went crazy in New Zealand. It just went nuts. Our latest data show mortgage arrears climbing for the 7th consecutive month, which could point to many being unable to service these higher mortgage rates. A difficult situation for anyone to be in, said Centrix Managing Director Keith McLaughlin. We are really starting to see some hardship. New Zealand is bracing for a recession as falling house prices and higher interest rates hurt consumer confidence and dampen household spending. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand is expected to raise its official cash rate to a 14-year high of 5% on Wednesday, and it may not be done yet as it tries to rein control of inflation. In Australia, many homeowners are also facing mortgage stress amid aggressive interest rate rises to tame inflation, prompting many to refinance. And the risk is that your LVRs are blown out, your loan-to-value ratio. Maybe you were at 80% and your property prices have fallen a little bit. You're still in positive equity, but your LVR isn't attractive enough to the bank because you're a risk now. We looked at another article where the Bank of Queensland is stepping away or reducing their exposure to riskier people. The banks are not your friends. Don't kid yourself. They're risk managers. They're experts in risk managers. At least they seem to be in Australia. In other parts of the world, not so much. But that's all they care about. I still remember a story a broker told me years ago. He had a client who was working in, what was it like? I think their business was in push carts at airports. And this was just around the terrorist attacks in the US, and the whole aeroplane industry was in complete upheaval. And the banks didn't want exposure to that risk, so they gave him a month to get rid of his mortgage, all of his credit card accounts, everything. There you go. They're not your friends. The banks are trying to compete by offering discounts and cashbacks to lure customers from rivals while trying to maintain existing borrowers. New Zealand is seen as something of a harbinger for housing markets elsewhere. It had one of the most pronounced housing bubbles when rates fell in the pandemic, when prices jumped almost 30% in 2021. But there has been an abrupt change since the RBNZ became one of the first central banks to unwind stimulus. House prices have fallen 16% from their November 2021 peak, and the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand says the RBNZ predicts prices will fall 23% from the peak by early next year. So that means if we went up 30%, we're still in the green. So here's the thing, you've got people predicting huge property price correction, in Australia or New Zealand for years, for decades in some circumstances. And now we're seeing a correction, but off a mania-driven peak. So, this isn't the huge crash they were predicting, guys. Property is way off being affordable, even if we go back to 2019 prices. We were bitching about prices then. And when I argue that we're not going to see a huge correction here in Australia, it's not because I'm a property bro and I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's because there's so much supporting it and driving the prices up. I've got a video I'm planning to do on NCC changes, new livability standards, which are increasing, are going to make access to houses more onerous, more expensive. We're bringing commercial accessibility requirements into private residences. Sounds good, sounds great, everyone's happy for it. Great soundbite for a politician. More expensive builds. That's just where we're headed. And all of those things are support mechanisms for housing prices. So, a refinance glut. The country faces a glut of mortgage refinancing this year. Most New Zealanders fix their mortgage for less than 3 years, and the RBN said estimates half of the stock of fixed-rate home loans are scheduled to reprice in the next 12 months. This means many homeowners will face a jump in interest rates to 6.5% or higher from historically low levels of 3% or less. Another 10% of mortgage holders have floating rates and are also being hit by higher interest payments. Now, if we think about it, how many of the people that are jumping up to 6.5 and are at 3 are old fuddy-duddies like me who locked in for cheap money, or how many of them bought during the mania and could only get into their house because of the 3%? I can't find that data anywhere. New Zealand's low jobless rate may cushion the housing market as mortgage holders grapple with higher loan costs, said CoreLogic NZ chief property economist Kelvin Davidson. While unemployment is projected to rise this year, it is likely to reflect more people in the market seeking work rather than mass job losses, he said. Okay, so that means the participation rate is increasing. So it's one of the funny things. You know, when times get good, unemployment will go up because more people think, oh, damn, I better look for a job. You know, maybe it's someone who's semi-retired and only works when they not because they have to, because they choose to. And then when the market gets so good, they might, I could do with a bit of work again. So the participation rate kicks up. Or you've got people that are in a couple, and the other partner needs to start working to meet the mortgage repayments. That's the world we live in now. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this repricing process and watch for any signs that bad debts are appearing, which might potentially lead to mortgagee sales, he said. But the projected resilience of employment is a helpful buffer, and by the end of the year, we suspect that this mortgage repricing flow will have become less of an issue. ANZ Bank New Zealand said it is seeing an increase in financial hardship numbers in line with industry figures, and has set up a team to monitor customers for signs they're coming under financial pressure. The majority of customers are in a sound financial position, a spokesperson said. The Bank of New Zealand and Westpac said they had seen a rise in customers seeking financial support following Cyclone Gabrielle, which left 11 people dead and displaced thousands when it cut across the upper North Island in February. Kiwi Bank hasn't seen a significant uplift in customers requiring support for financial difficulties, a spokesperson said. So there we go, everyone. Mortgage rates, defaults jump in New Zealand. And let's bring up trading economics. And we'll check out to see. No, we won't go out. We'll change the topic. We'll look and see countries. Where is it? Why isn't New Zealand there? Oh, poor Kiwis. Poor Kiwis. They don't get there. Okay, we'll go more countries. We'll have a look. New Zealand. Okay, they're part of Australia. Just join the Federation, guys. You know you want to. You know you want to join the Federation. Come on. Sign up. Become a state. You'll love it. It's awesome being Australian. Awesome. Where is it? What do we want to look at? The interest rate, inflation rate, 6.7%, so it's going down. GDP growth rate is down. Unemployment rate, 3.4%, so it's still pretty low. Still pretty low. Where is the interest rate? Here we go, 5.25%. So there you go. It jumped up since the time that article was written. So the forecast for trading economics is a increase to 5.5% next month. So they're going hard. They are going hard. They're not like us here in Australia, taking it easy. They're going hard. Well, let's have a bit of a talk about this, guys. So there we have it. Mortgage arrears are increasing in New Zealand, but not too much concern yet. Just something to keep an eye on. It's going to get tough for some people. And prices there are just... It's going to be the poor that really cop it. Kind of sucks, doesn't it? Let me know if you're in New Zealand, when you're planning to move to Australia, guys. Let us know. As always, thanks for watching. Check out HeiseBim and Heise Does. And if you're a fan and want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care. Have a great day, and we're just going to have to keep an eye on what's going on across the ditch. See you next time.